American forces striking south are now poised to seize this crucial logistic component in China's ongoing war effort, seeking to both divert petroleum resources while simultaneously hindering PLA mechanized efforts in this sector. The stakes are high in this head-on collision between advancing US brigades and the defending Chinese forces, with both sides advised to cautiously advance through this volatile landscape. This video is going to be a map analysis of the Daqing Oilfields map from Battlefield 2. This is the map that is featured in the intro of the game, where American forces defend the central point against a heavy PLA assault. We will be looking at the real-life inspirations for the map, as well as the environment and layout of the map itself. We'll also be going over the flag points and equipment that both the USMC and PLA forces have at their disposal here. Daqing is a city in the west of the Heilongjiang province in the northeast of China. The city is known as the oil capital of China, having the largest oil field in the country. The oil field was discovered in 1959 and started production in 1960. As of 2013, the field produces about 800,000 barrels per day, though this number may have decreased since then, since the Daqing Oilfield Company planned to cut its crude oil output by an annual 7% for the next 7 years, in order to extend the life of the oil field. I think DICE really nailed the visual look of this map in terms of matching the real-life Daqing Oilfield. There are many oil pumps seen throughout the map, as well as refineries, railroads, and of course the 4 large cisterns in the middle of the map. The ambient sounds heard throughout the map also contribute to this feeling of being in the real-life location as well. The number of control point locations varies depending on what size version of the map one is playing on. Daqing Oilfields has 3 map sizes, a 64-player, 32-player, and 16-player. I will be focusing on the 64-player version, as the 32 and 16-player versions of the map are the same, except that they have less control points to capture due to their reduced play space and smaller player count. But I'll denote on the screen which control point locations are available on each versions of the map as I go through them. The 64-player version of Daqing Oilfields has a total of 9 control points, making it the second largest map in the game in terms of the number of points that it has. 7 of the points are neutral, and the other 2 represent each team's main base. The 7 neutral control points are the East Oilfield, the gas station, the Old City, the oil cistern, the refinery, the power plant, and the West Oilfield. The 2 points for the USMC and PLA are the Chinese base and the US town. Much of the fighting occurs in the middle of the map due to the concentration of points. In addition to the control points, there are 5 bridges found throughout the map that vehicles and troops can use to get across the river. These bridges can be destroyed with explosives such as C4 and will require an engineer to repair them. First, we'll take a look at the main bases for the United States Marine Corps, USMC, and People's Liberation Army, PLA. What these locations have in common with each other is that they cannot be captured by the opposing team, and are where each team's commander support structures are located. The Chinese base is located in the northwest portion of the map, and is where all the players on the PLA team will spawn at the start of the match. The base is surrounded by a fence and has two main entrances, one to the south and another to the east. There is also this hole in the fence that enemy players can use to infiltrate the base with. There are 3 buildings, 3 hangars, 4 guard towers, a carport, and 3 fuel silos here. These 2 silos can be climbed using the ladders. As for the commander's support structures, both the UAV trailer and radar station are between the runways of the airport, and the 3 D-30 artillery guns are located right outside the base at the southern entrance. For the vehicles that spawn here, one J-10 fighter jet and an Su-30 ground attack jet are located in 2 of the hangars. A WZ-10 attack helicopter spawns at the helipad at the airfield, and next to it, an FAV. 2 more FAVs spawn at the main entrances of the base. A Type 98 tank and an NJ-2036 light vehicle spawn under the carport. Another light vehicle spawns next to this small building, and a Type 95 SPAAA vehicle spawns near the helipad. And a Z-8 transport helicopter spawns at the second helipad. As for the stationary emplacements, one LMG is located in this guard tower, one Eaglet AA launcher is located next to one of the runways, and another is located near the small building. And 2 HJ-8AT launchers are at the southern entrance of the base. The US town is located in the southwest portion of the map, and is where all players for the US team spawn at the start of the match. There is only one main entrance into the town, and that is in the north. If any players accidentally fall into the water, they can use these steps to get back up to land. There are 15 civilian buildings, 2 pagodas, 2 hangars, and a bunker. This building here can be garrisoned by infantry. For the commander's support structures, the UAV trailer is located near the helipads, and the radar station is between the runways of the airfield. The 3 LW-155 artillery guns are located on the western side of the town. As for the vehicles that spawn here, an FA-18A Hornet fighter and F-15 Strike Eagle spawn in the hangars. An MH-60 Nighthawk transport helicopter and AH-1Z Viper attack helicopter spawn at the helipads. An M1 Abrams tank, DPV, and an HMMWV light vehicle spawn on the east side of the town. An M6 linebacker, DPV, and another light vehicle spawn on the west side. And one more DPV spawns back by the helipads. As for the stationary emplacements, one LMG is located inside the bunker, and another LMG is on these sandbags. 3 BGM-71 TOW AT launchers are located near the main entrance of the base, and the artillery guns. And finally, one Stinger AA launcher is next to one of the bridges. The East Oilfield is, as the name suggests, the oilfield on the east side of the map. The point has 3 main entrances, one to the north, one to the east, and one to the south. The point is surrounded by a metal fence that has 2 boarded up holes in it. The boards can be destroyed with any explosives, so players can move through the holes. There are 2 buildings, 2 large carports, and a conveyor belt. This building here can be garrisoned by players. No matter which team controls the point, an attack helicopter will spawn at the helipad. A tank will spawn under the carport east of the flagpole. An FAV will spawn under the carport west of the flagpole. And another FAV spawns north of the flagpole next to the garrisonable building. And only one AA launcher emplacement is located here at the north entrance. The West Oilfield is the oilfield on the western side of the map, and is south of the power plant. There are 4 entrances here, one in the north, 2 in the east, and one in the south. The metal fence surrounding the point has a hole in the west part of it that players can use to move through. There are 4 buildings and 2 large carports here. Both of these buildings can be garrisoned by players. No matter which team controls the point, one light vehicle and one FAV will spawn under this carport, an anti-aircraft vehicle will spawn under the other carport, and another FAV spawns next to the northern garrisonable building. No stationary emplacements are found at this point. The power station is located north of the West Oilfield and south of the Chinese base. It is also the closest point for the players on the PLA team to capture at the start of the match. The point is surrounded by a fence that has a few entrances, 2 in the north and 3 in the south, more specifically the southeast, south, and southwest, and one more smaller entrance in the east. There are 3 buildings here, one large warehouse, a small shed, and the power plant itself. Only 2 vehicles spawn here, regardless of which team controls it. One light vehicle next to the warehouse, and an FAV near the north entrance. One LMG emplacement is located on a small concrete block at the southeast entrance. The gas station is north of the US town and is the closest point for the US team to capture at the start of the match. The point has 3 main entrances, one to the west, one to the north, and the large opening in the south. The gas station is mostly surrounded by a brick wall that has 2 holes in it that players can move through. There are 3 buildings, a carport, and 3 silos. All 3 of the silos can be climbed, and the gas station building has a ladder that players can use to climb to the roof of. No matter which team controls the point, 2 FAVs and a tank spawn at this point, and only one AT launcher will spawn at the north entrance, surrounded by sandbags. The refinery is one of the central points on the map, and is northwest of the US town. It is also one of the largest points as well. The 2 main entrances to this point are to the north and the east. This location is mostly surrounded by a metal fence that has boarded up holes in it that can be destroyed and used by players to infiltrate the point. There is only one major building here, and that is the refinery itself. This building has a hallway that players can move through or take cover in. There are also these 4 large smokestacks that players can climb to the tops of. The smokestack in the north of the point provides the highest vantage point. There is also this small building here which can be garrisoned by infantry. No matter which faction controls the point, one tank spawns between the 3 largest smokestacks, one anti-aircraft vehicle spawns north of the flagpole, one light vehicle and one FAV spawn near the north entrance, and one more FAV spawns east of the flagpole. Only one LMG emplacement is located in the small building at the north entrance. The Old City is east of the Chinese base and is another one of the larger points on the map. The city can be accessed from all directions, but the main entrances are along the main dirt roads in the east, south, and west. There are 26 civilian buildings at this location, and several of them can be garrisoned by players. There is also a crashed plane which looks to be an F-15 to the east of the city. No matter which team controls the point, a tank spawns north of the flagpole between 2 buildings, an FAV spawns east of the flagpole, an anti-aircraft vehicle spawns nearby the flagpole, and a light vehicle spawns south of the flagpole. For the stationary emplacements, one LMG is located next to the flagpole, and another LMG is on a small window near the west entrance. And finally, in the center of the map is the oil cistern. This point specifically is heavily featured in the intro of the game, and is one of the most contested points on the map since it is right in the center of it. The center of the point can be accessed from all directions: north, east, south, and west. A metal fence partially surrounds the factory building right in the middle. This factory is also where the flagpole is located. There are also 6 other buildings around the factory and 3 silos in the northeast corner. All 3 of these silos can be climbed using the ladders. And of course the 4 huge oil cisterns for which the point gets its name. The cistern to the northeast has a ladder that players can use to climb to the top of. This is the only one that can be climbed from the ground, while the other cisterns are only accessible from the air by parachuting out of planes or helicopters. There is also this small ramp that FAVs can use to jump over the fence with. No matter which faction controls the point, 4 light vehicles will spawn around the factory, and 1 FAV will spawn near the north entrance. All the stationary emplacements are located on the factory building, which has 2 LMGs facing east, 1 LMG facing south, and 1 more facing west. And 1 AA launcher is on the very top of the factory, accessible by a nearby ladder. So there are a couple of other locations on the map that are not control points, but that I do think are of interest to mention. There is a cargo train that is northwest of the oil cistern point. This train has a couple of boxcars attached to it that not only can be entered by players, but can also be climbed to the tops of using ladders on the boxcars themselves. Nearby the train is a large warehouse that both infantry and vehicles can use to take cover in, especially from artillery barrages or bombing runs. The warehouse has scaffolding that players can utilize to get a higher vantage point and engage enemy infantry outside, as they fight their way across the battlefield of Daqing Oilfields.